There's like a positive nature about you that will get imprinted onto everything that you do. And that's valuable for the world.
I think now is the time where I'm really writing that story. Like, I'm going to look back in the next 5 to 10 years and go 2023 was the year that Angie Faith's career really took off. And then I met Kevin McCove and we became partners and friends, and he helped me. And I just loved how vulnerable we got to be with each other, how real this interview, this conversation that we got to have was.
Hey, what's going on? Welcome to the McCove Mindset Podcast. I'm Kevin McCove, and this episode we're going to have on as our special guest the 2023 Joyburst Talent Search winner. As you know, all of these episodes recently have been sponsored by Joyburst, and I want to give a big thank you out to them for sponsoring these podcasts. And I'm really looking forward to interviewing the winner, Miss Angie Faith, and seeing what she's going to do with this $10,000 grand prize that she's won and how we can best move her career forward and take her to the next level. I love you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in, and let's get to it. So what's up?
Hi, it's nice to meet you.
It's really nice to actually meet you too, considering it was not too long ago that we were just exchanging comments on TikTok.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Thank you so much for answering all my questions, just supporting me. Yeah, it's amazing how things have grown in such a short period of time.
Yeah, so why don't you, just for anybody who's listening who does not know, this is Angie Faith. I see. So do you go by Angie Faith or Angie O? Oh,
Angie Faith is my
Angie Faith. Okay, so
name.
Angie Faith, the Joyburst Talent Search winner for 2023. Super congratulations to you. How did you even find out about this?
Thank you. Well, I was on TikTok and I actually saw this singer singing, and she was amazing. I was like, this girl can really sing. And she had a hashtag Joyburst Talent Search in her post. So I was like, oh, what's that? And then I remember writing in her comments, I was like, if there's a public voting, you've got my vote. So, yeah, I was just thankful to her because of her sharing what she loves to do and her beautiful voice. I got an opportunity to check out this contest and this talent search. So I clicked on the hashtag Joyburst Talent Search, and then that actually took me to your page. And I checked out you and what you do and saw Vanilla Ice say, what's going down? 10 grand, man. And Brad Woodgate. I followed all of y'all, even before I entered the talent search, just because of your content and your energy. I just really appreciate all three of you. And so, yep, I did that. And then I had some questions, of course, as you know, about entering, just to try to figure it out. But, yeah, you were really helpful. And then I entered, and then I just let it go. I was like, okay, what's meant to be will be. And then it happened.
And then it was.
And then
right?
it was.
And then it was.
Fast.
Yeah. No, really, congratulations. Really congratulations. Especially too, because you were very engaged. I think that really matters. It does. It does really matter to be engaged, because it also helps to show oh, you know what? This is also going to be a person who cares about our mission and the brand and what we stand for and bringing joy to people. And all of those alignment things play a part. They really do play a part.
Absolutely.
So I have to ask, I'm so what are you going to do with the money?
Definitely investing it into my career, into my dream. This year is a launching year for my career. I've been at this for a really long time, and I'm a full-time performing artist here in Vancouver, BC. And I know there's a difference between being a working musician, right? And making money and playing covers and adding originals. And there's being an artist, right? And making your own music and sharing that with the world. So my intention is to spend this money on some studio costs and like anything that's really going to forward my intention as an artist. And then, just like have some fun with it. Just allow myself to spend it on things that bring me joy, not just all business, like
Yeah.
maybe take me and my partner like away for like a nice trip, or I don't know. I've never had $10,000 before, Kevin. It's kind of like it's still a shock to me. I have this like giant check in my house and I'm like, I'm going to have to find a picture frame big enough to frame this beautiful keepsake. Yeah, that's my answer. I kind of know, but I also don't at the same time. And so, yeah,
that's part of the beauty,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Is to be able to have the freedom, like that's a gift, right? Like it's a gift to be able to have the freedom to allow your mind to imagine possibility.
Absolutely. Yep.
That's a really beautiful thing. So when you say a long time that you've been making music, how long is a long time?
I started writing when I was 10. Is this the part where I tell my age?
No. If you want to, maneuver. If you want to maneuver, that's cool. Like, yeah.
Yeah. Over. Yeah.
It was in the last millennium? Was it? No, I'm playing.
Yeah. Over 15 years for sure.
Word. That's a long time. That is a long time. And so
it's a lifetime for me.
What was the pathway for you? Was it like, you were the choir kid or a band kid or church or,
Really good question. I'm the musical theater kid, actually. Yeah.
Honestly, I'm like, I kind of already got the vibe that you were a musical theater kid. I did, because when I was looking at your content, I'm like, oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I went to school for music, so I'm like, you can tell the musical theater kids. You can tell them.
Yeah, I know, right? And so my dad always, it's so funny because there's the theater that I grew up in here in Richmond, which is like in Vancouver where I live. And every time we drive past Gateway Theater, my dad always says, you were 6 years old. I dropped you off at the back door there. And I was like, bye, Angela. And like away you went. And,
that's awesome.
that was the beginning, like really 6 years old.
What were your favorite roles that she played?
Oh, so many. Okay. I really enjoyed Mary Poppins. That was during the like fall programs. I was in it 365. Like I was in the spring, fall, and then the big Christmas productions that went all the way into the new year that Gateway Theater would do. And so I believe, it was in the fall when I was Mary Poppins. And that was like just so cool to be Mary Poppins. And then there was
I imagine you with the umbrella just like
yeah, Spoonful of Sugar. I can still remember that song. And then there was Honk, which is like the story of the ugly duckling, and I was the frog, and I had a solo song called Warts and All, if you go find that musical, Honk.
Warts and All.
I remember going to MAC and getting green lipstick and like bright green eyeshadow, and I had like a green jumpsuit. I was just like a kid, right? I was probably like 11 years old at the time. Like a preteen. Yeah.
Like a preteen. Yeah.
Like
I'm imagining how that went down. It's like, oh, who are you? Like, I'm the frog. Like, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's
with the warts and all. Like,
yeah. And that was the line was out there. Somebody's gonna love you, warts and all. That was the message. And I think that's so beautiful.
That is beautiful.
Hold on to that. Yeah. Yeah.
So then what got you into the cover world then? Because I'm like, okay, so you probably did a bunch of musical theater.
Oh, yeah.
And that took you through school.
Okay, but hold on. There's just one more. There's one more that's like the top. Like I'm building, right? Then there was The Sound of Music. And I was Brigitte. I was one of the Von Trapp children. So like the middle child. And that was amazing. I got to know myself as somebody who was like unstoppable in that time in my life, because I got sick during that musical production, and my understudy, we did have understudies in case that happened because it was such a huge cast. She got to step in, and I think that was the moment where the like mechanic of like the show must go on got like built into me. And then, yeah, like to answer your question, like with cover songs and being like a performer and a live performer, then it got planted, right? The seed got planted in that moment. And I was like, I have to go after it in every capacity. So I started writing music. I put a band together in my high school. We won Battle of the Bands. We were like rock stars, man. we were we had band t-shirts and CDs, and we played at all the festivals and all the community centers, and oh my goodness, we had some good times. Yeah. And then when I was 18, I kind of went away from the like band, the originals, and I started playing covers. And I had mentors. I had my father, I had Rachel Chatur, a really good friend of mine who's still in the music industry. And they were the people that helped me get the gigs, that gave me the PA, that taught me how to make the book with the set list. And after doing it for a year and a half, or maybe even a year, I was off book. I had my set list. I had the clients, and I just kept it going. And here we are today.
Word. So that makes me have questions. Like,
okay,
when you were talking in there, and that was me like being eager, right? I'm like jumping. I'm like, we cut off half your life story because I'm like, oh, I got a question. No, like, so it made me want to know, like, how did you end up in the cover world from musical theater world? That, like, what happened that made you say, like, I don't want to pursue musical theater like longer, and I want to like pivot and go this direction with my musical talent?
It's a great question because, yeah, like there was a time where I remember being young and going, by the time I'm 22, I'll be living in New York City. I'll be at Broadway. I did have those dreams. I think it started with the songwriting. Honestly, when I started writing my own music and got a taste of what it was like to play with my band and have the crowd sing my music back to me, my words. And we had my friends, like, oh my gosh, my parents were so supportive, still are. But like they let us pack the downstairs garage of our apartment with kids. Oh my goodness. I can't even imagine what it was like for them just having all these kids coming in. So it was like, I got a taste. I got a taste of what it was like to write my own music, to have a fan like following, to be like the star of my own creations. And that was it. I fell in love and I was like, this is what I want to be doing. And then I just started playing more shows, bigger festivals, bigger stages, building that audience. And then the age of social media came and totally changed the game for what was possible. Right. You know, and yeah, but at the heart of it, like I love performing for people. And I love performing like different styles of music. Like musical theater is very vocally based, which I am a vocalist and I do have a powerful voice. But, when you play like rock and roll or kind of like folk music or like jazz, like there's so many genres that you can play with. And so I think that I started to discover my sound as well through like writing music, and had so many amazing moments and memories with people. And I just knew, I was like, I want to do this. I want to do this on like a global scale. And my whole career has been a trajectory of that dance of like, working musician so I can pay my bills and live a really beautiful life. And the artist who's, working on her music. And I just have put this trust in myself and in God, that like, when the time comes, like I'll be ready, but I've just been waiting for that like opportune moment to like launch,
Word. And this is a great launch pad.
It is.
This is a great launch pad. Yeah. I was like, personally, I was curious because I speak to a lot of artists, and obviously, like I've had my own journey with, so it's like, it's always very interesting to hear like, what are the things that goes on in someone's mind and in their heart, and how that's met, like juxtaposed against reality that they live, right? The reality that is their reality, because there was this, I was getting the feeling of there's this love for performing and there's a love for like, then that love it blossomed even more when you got to write your own stuff and create your own art. And then we went to cover music. So I'm like, this is like I need to discover how to earn a living while
Yep.
creating. Like, and that is such a big hurdle. That is a really big
Yeah.
hurdle for so many independent musicians to figure out, like, how do I make money off of my own music?
Absolutely. Oh yeah. We're still figuring it out in this day and age. We're still figuring that one out, right? But the other thing too, Kevin, is like regarding the covers, and this is something that was pointed out to me by an audience member. Like I was doing this like unknowingly, but I take other people's music and I make it my own. So you go listen to my cover of me singing Dreams a cappella, and it doesn't really sound like the record Dreams. It's like my own adaptation of it. And that
Yeah.
became its own trending thing, as we know, with like YouTube, right? People taking covers, making mashups, doing their own versions. But I've been doing that since like day one. I just don't know how else to do music. I just take people's creations and I make them my own. And so I think that also has had me be extremely successful at what I do as a cover artist, is that people are guaranteed a really authentic and unique show. They're going to hear the songs that they know, but they're going to hear them done differently every single time. And what started to build as well is people's love for the renditions that I do. A real relatability and a real vulnerability in the lyrics as well. And the message is like, it's not about how fast I get there. It's not about what's waiting on the other side. It's the climb.
Right. That
I love
journey
that.
is beautiful. I can do it. I can vibe with that. I
Yeah.
think that people who, I will add to that and say that for me personally, it's not about the music. It's about the individual behind the music.
Mm.
And like, who are they? Do I like them? Do other people like them? Are they good human beings? Is the world a better place because they exist? Is like that kind of a
Mm.
thing. Like, I think that like people find each other, so
Yep.
in that same likeness, but in music, it's like every single human being loves music. Like, regardless, like
It's
every
true.
human being loves music. So I
It's
don't
true.
categorize it as like music. I'm like,
Yeah.
it's more finite than that. And at the
Yeah.
core, there's like an essence or an aura or energy that exudes from an individual that allows you to like say like, wow, there's love behind that person, there's faith behind that person, there's compassion behind that individual, and those things are like what really speak to individuals,
Beautifully said.
especially now where connection is, it's a little harder. I mean, we're connecting, but we're also probably like, I don't know, 4 5 6,000 miles away from each other, so, but even with that, this is our first time interacting with each other. It's the first time
Yeah.
speaking to each other.
Yeah.
I knew that about you already.
Oh, it's so cool. I love
you
that.
know and it's like, well, then so does your fan base, so are
Yeah.
the people who are not your fans yet but will just interact with you, and even if they never become your fans, their life will be better just because they got to interact with something that you did, because there's like a positive nature about you that will get imprinted onto everything that you do, and that's valuable for the world.
Mm, thank you. That is such a beautiful way of sharing that. And I loved everything you said. Like thank you for the acknowledgement. Thank you for seeing me. Like I really appreciate that. And I really believe in it. Like I didn't oh my gosh, I didn't always view myself as a loving person. I actually had some not so nice things to say about myself growing up as a teenager. And it's cuz I got bullied a lot. Like a lot. I was like I just couldn't ever fit in, and I think it's just cuz like I would stand out. And I remember my parents always saying they're just jealous of you, you know. And so as I got older, I did everything I could to blend in, to dim my shine, to not be too much, to not be all of that. And I just really want to be somebody who makes a difference in the world. I
Well, I
think
think
that's all.
everything that you just said
Yeah.
is going to make a difference.
Yeah.
It's going to make a difference.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you. Glad we just took a little moment to sit in that. I took a deep breath with you. I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
like, nah, it's beautiful. Seriously. And I mean, I think that's great. Like, I'm like, oh, it's so good. Oh, we chose the right person. Like, that's how I feel on the inside right now. I shit you not. I'm like, yes, like, yeah, that's how I feel. I really do. You know, I'm very excited. Like I'm more fired up for you now. You know, I'm like, yes, yes. I think anybody who gets to hear what you just said will, their life is going to be better for it. It's really going to matter. And I'm really excited for you to get some music out into the world and for people to be able to, like, you know, champion you and get behind your journey and sing your songs. And, you know, like,
Yeah.
I really do want that for you. And I'm really looking forward to it. So thank you. Thank you for coming on to the podcast.
You.
Seriously.
Thank you so much for having me. This was like amazing. And I just loved how like vulnerable we got to be with each other, like how real this interview, this conversation that we got to have was. It was really special. And I love moments like these. And I'm just really grateful that we got a chance to be with each other, to connect. And thank you for those who are like listening and tuning in and supporting Kevin as well. Like, I just want y'all to know I appreciate you so much. And thank you to Joyburst. Like, oh my goodness, I'm just so grateful and so happy. And I have this song called My Future by Billie Eilish that I sing, and the lyrics are like, I'm in love with my future. And that is truly how I feel. Like, I'm grateful for this present moment, and I'm in love with the future, and I'm excited for what's coming. I'm ready for it. I've been ready. I'm like, you know what they say, when preparation meets opportunity. I'm like, I'm prepared. I was born for this. Let's go. I'm ready.
Word. So I'm going to close this podcast
Okay.
with my mantra, which is that my future can be better than my present, and I have the power to make it so. And your future is looking bright.